We had the new moon at 0 degrees of Aries happening on March 21st at 10:22 a.m. Pacific, which is 1:22 p.m. Eastern. Check your local time to see when this lunation is occurring for you. Happy astrological new year! Aries marks the beginning of the zodiac. All the cardinal signs mark the beginning points of the seasons, but Aries specifically is the first sign of the zodiac, so we have a brand new zodiacal year ahead of us because we're now in Aries season and we're getting this new moon in the sign of the Ram. Also, welcome to the first of 2 new moons in Aries. We have another new moon in Aries happening around April 19th, but this one will be in the form of a solar eclipse. Very different energy from just a new moon energy. New moons are potent on their own, but adding an eclipse to that really keys up the energy. And because we're having 2 new moons, whatever we're trying to start fresh in this particular sign might need a second look before we can launch it. Although, because the next one is a solar eclipse, we will have to handle it differently because eclipse energy is different, and the way I read this moon will be completely different than how I'm reading that solar eclipse. On top of that, both of these Aries new moons are at an anaretic degree, and an anaretic degree is a critical degree in astrology. This new moon that we have coming up on the 21st, that is at 0 degrees. That solar eclipse will be at 29 degrees. So because this one is at the full embodiment of Aries at a 0 degree point, it might feel like a critical point to start something fresh in this sign. And the one we'll have on the 19th will be at the 29th degree of Aries, which is an ending point of Aries. So in order to start something fresh, something might need to be eclipsed out at that point. But I will talk about that other one once we get there in full length. Looking at the vibes on the graph, they're minimal compared to all the stuff that we do have going on during this lunation. We basically only have 3 vibes going on. Mental energy will be present from the 21st to the 22nd. This is going to be a very contemplative time. This is going to be a time when we're trying to solve complex issues. And so we might be in research mode where we're looking at ways to become more pioneering in our lives. We have a few contradictory energies. Social energy will be present all the way from the 21st to the 23rd. But it's also mixed in with solitude. So there may be a need to be to yourself, but at the same time, needing a distraction. Aries energy, even with the harder transits we have going on during this lunation, is a fun energy, is an energy about going out and having an adventure and enjoying yourself and seeking exhilarating experiences. So we could be looking for that, but at the same time needing a moment to ourselves or feeling like, you know what, I kind of don't want to be alone with my thoughts, so let's just go out and do something fun. I mean, this is happening on a Tuesday, so it's 2 for Tuesday, and now that we're in Aries season, anything can happen in terms of having a crazy spontaneous night out. So yeah, now that we're here in this new moon in Aries energy, think about what type of Aries themes you'd like to incorporate in your life in the next 6 months. New moons are about new beginnings, and it's about adopting the positive qualities of the sign and setting intentions for it. That way, when we get to the full moon in Aries on September 29th, we can bask in the glow of the things that have panned out for us. Aries is a pretty dynamic sign, and I know that a lot of the time Aries gets a bad rap. It's one of the signs that gets a bad rap. There's a few others, mostly because people focus on the harsher qualities of these signs, but every sign has a positive expression, just like every sign has a negative expression. And there are things in Aries that are very adoptable that can help you push forward in your life. Because Aries is a sign about self-motivation, doing your own thing, being yourself unapologetically, and taking the time out to think of your own needs without getting weighed down by other people. Is this a period where you're wanting to find yourself again? In other words, have you lost yourself in other people? Have you spent so much time thinking of other people's needs? Everyone's cheerleader, or putting your wants aside because you're afraid to disturb the peace? Losing yourself in a romantic relationship or other close relationships in your life. Sometimes we can lose ourselves in these relationships, and of course it never starts out that way, and it always starts with good intentions, and there's nothing wrong with helping other people. Obviously we should help other people and we should be there for the people in our lives, but within reason. If it gets to a point where it's unhealthy and you're losing yourself because of it, and you've given up on your dreams, or you've put stuff on the shelf for yourself, or you don't know where you end and they begin because the situation has become so deeply enmeshed, then that's problematic, because we're meant to have our own identity as well. We're meant to be a little bit selfish at times. And selfish doesn't have to be nasty. Selfish could be just simply taking the time out to do something for yourself, going to the gym, taking time to meditate. Even if it's just wanting to veg out on video games or YouTube videos, or getting back into your favorite hobbies, taking the time out to do the things that you like creatively, like the arts, music, poetry, writing, taking the time out to make yourself look nice. Sometimes people lose themselves because they haven't really taken care of their appearance because they've been so focused on other people that they're starting to see that it's affecting them outwardly. And it doesn't have to always be about being polished. Sometimes that could be our health as well. So within the Aries archetype, taking that time out to do your own thing and stay within your identity of who you are is very essential. So adopting this quality of Aries energy within balance is going to help you reconnect to the parts of yourself that you felt like you might have lost while focusing on other people's needs. Continuing with the independent nature of Aries, is this a period where you're wanting to learn how to do your own thing? Maybe you haven't necessarily lost yourself, or you're feeling like you're starting to lose yourself, and you're wanting to learn how to not need everybody for everything. Obviously, it's not healthy to be on the extreme end of not asking for help or doing everything on your own. At the same time, there's also an unhealthy point where we wait on other people to do things or for permission to do things. So is this a period where you're wanting to learn how to do that? Is this a period where you're wanting to learn how to even just go out by yourself if necessary? And it doesn't have to be at the bars or the club or anything like that. It could simply be something like you're wanting to go for a hike, so you're getting up and you're going. You're like, I'm not waiting for anyone. No one's available anyway, so I want to go out and enjoy nature. Or you're wanting to go to this new mall across town and nobody else is willing to go with you, so you're just deciding to take that trip by yourself. Or even trying coffee shops in your area that maybe no one's available for, or people are just not into it as much as you, and so you're deciding that it's time for you to not wait around for everyone because you really want to try this place out. Another thing with Aries is it is an excitement-seeking sign, meaning it's looking for thrills, it's looking for something exhilarating, it's looking for adventure, it's looking to be spontaneous, it's looking around every corner for something that's going to be an adrenaline rush. So are you at a period now where you're wanting something more exciting for your life? Are you kind of getting sick of the same old, and are you at the point where you're needing to feel a sense of aliveness? Sometimes experiencing stillness for a while makes us crave that adventure that we've been missing. So this could be a time where you're wanting to get out more. This could be a period where you're starting to realize that you need an outlet. You need some fun in your life. You need something exhilarating in your life. You can't be all work and no play, or stop going out and having fun because of a relationship. And even if it isn't those things, in the Northern Hemisphere, things are starting to warm up. People are coming out of the winter periods, and sometimes when you come out of those winter periods, you're just ready to get the ball rolling when it comes down to just getting out and having some much deserved leisure time. This could be a period where you're trying to ensure that this will be a habit in your life. Coming back to relationships, on the healthy end, is this a period where you're needing more excitement in your love life? For some, this could be a time to kickstart your love life if you're single and you've been putting things on hold because you weren't ready, or there might have been a little bit of fear about dating. And so now you're wanting to come to a period where you're connecting with your bold side, you're taking action when it comes down to your love life, and more so getting out of the passenger seat in that area. So this could be a time where you're ready to become optimistic again and put yourself out there. If you're in a committed union and you're wanting to revitalize that, this could be a time where you're wanting to bring more intimacy and passion into your relationship. Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is associated with passion and sex. And so this could be a time where you're wanting to rev up your sex life, whether you're single or in a committed relationship. Of course, for those in a committed relationship, to your partner. And because Aries is such an exhilarating energy, this could be a time where you're wanting to incorporate that in your life so that way you can have a more dynamic love life. Let's look at these transits and see what we can expect for this lunation. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. So this moon is mixed bag. There's a bunch of hard alignments, but there are some easy alignments that are occurring during this lunar event. The chart ruler is Mars, since it is the governing planet of Aries, and it is making two alignments to Neptune and Pluto that are complicated. Pluto is about to change signs in the next couple of days, and so Mars is in a quincunx with Pluto. As Pluto is at the 29th degree of Capricorn and Mars is at the 28th degree of Gemini, Mars will also be leaving Gemini in a couple of days as well and going into Cancer. So they're locked in this quincunx for a couple of days. days. And what that can do is it can cause some flare-ups in terms of our temper. There could be some blind spots where we don't understand exactly how we're coming off to people. Maybe we're not meaning to come off abrasive and we're coming off abrasive and it's triggering other people, which can then lead to arguments. Or it could be moments where our anger is disproportionate for the situation at hand and we're overreacting to certain scenarios. Especially with Mars and that square to Neptune, we can experience some very foggy moments that don't necessarily help situations that we're blowing out of proportion. So you want to take your time if you can, if you have the luxury to, and make sure you return to the situation when you're clear-minded. At least Mars is making a trine to Saturn, and that should really help in terms of getting back to a place where we can be constructive. This applying trine to Mars and Saturn is actually really potent, so it might be helpful in salvaging things and seeing things for what they are, making our long-term plans, since this is a new moon and about new beginnings. So we could be taking a moment to create a master plan for ourselves that'll help us create something solid, long-lasting, and concrete. This moon is going to be making complicated alignments to Mars, Neptune, and Uranus. So this could create some moments where, again, we might be hazy, we might be foggy on things, we may feel extra sensitive than normal and extra triggery than normal. So we're going to want to take our time and try to decipher things for what they really are, or give ourselves a moment to decipher things for what they really are, because there could be some miscommunication that leads to bickering with an energy like this. There could also be some sudden shifts that takes us out of our comfort zone in a way that we don't like. So for this reason, our emotions might be all over the place, resulting in us needing some space from people. This is where some of that solitude energy was popping up. So we might feel like we need some alone time. We might feel a little more anxious than normal. At the same time, we might feel like we want a distraction because our emotions and moods are all over the place. But the sun and the moon are making harmonious alignments to Pluto, which could help us realistically look at the things that we need to transform, work on our coping skills, and realize that we don't need certain things in order to feel secure. Signs that'll feel this lunation more than others will be the cardinal modality. So that'll be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, between 0 to 10 degrees of these signs. Anyway, I hope you all have the best new moon in Aries ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.